So research on that. I mean, you're changing a brand. There's a lot of risk associated with changing a brand. If you're going to change your brand, you should use and leverage research to help understand the implications of
Yeah, it actually went through this whole exercise as I rebranded my podcast is like, how much should I change it? And I opted for a more the recognizable rebrand where I just removed the word design. I was thinking about just changing it entirely, but there's just the concept of like brand equity, like the years of meaning that you put into that name and the work that you put into it.
it.
That
100%.
yeah.
And you remember, like, when people anchor you to certain things, like your branding, your positioning lives in the mind of the people who have listened and the consumer. It doesn't, like, we think we're putting something out into the world. When we change something, it's just changed, but it's only changed for us. It's not changed for our listeners, our audience. But when you think about that, you were thinking about it in terms of risk. What kind of loss would I experience if I changed the entire name of my business? And then you think, like, the reality is we think of loss and risk in terms of value. Are we going to lose money or time as a result of a change? And research, both verb and noun, help to mitigate that risk, which is really what the function is. And I think that the research of the future is going to look very different than it does today, because I think that it's going to be employed more strategically.
And so what lessons have you learned as a police detective that have led you to that conclusion?
I think a big lesson is that historically research has operated in a model that more aligns with an academic model than it
Yeah,
does
like scientific process.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
And that is not okay, so you have the scientific process where you'll start with research objectives and questions, you'll go through screening. It's very linear, and academic articles end with publication. Research reports traditionally have ended with publication of a research report or deck that is
Mhm.
between probably 30 to 80 or more pages of data and
Yeah.
evidence, usually in the same format as an academic article, where you'll talk about, okay, here's our methodology, here's our sampling criteria, here's all of these things. And then when software development came along, so this is market research started that way. Then when software came along and started bringing in agile methods and this like iterative process, research was like, we're not going to slow down product development. We'll speed research up. So they took that linear process and they just tried to condense the line. Rather than change the way they do research, they just changed the time. So rather than we'll just do the line faster. The problem is that doesn't align with how product teams work. When a product team is saying, when you ask a product manager, what do you need to know? They're telling you what they need to know today. So by you doing research, now you're answering the question they need to know today, sometime in the future. And that assumes that product teams stop. This is why researchers have so much consternation about, we don't slow down product development. The reason that we do slow down product development, or product managers wouldn't say it, we don't want to slow down product development. So what I learned as a detective is you need to take an abductive approach. We talked about Sherlock Holmes didn't really use deduction. He used induction, but let's leave that for a second and talk about abduction. Abductive approach to research is building upon a body of knowledge and evidence in real time to help drive something. So as a detective, if you get a call to burglar alarm, you arrive at the house. The first thing you see is the house. Then you look up and you see a broken window. Then you see the doors open. You hear the burglar alarm going off. You go inside and you see that the house has been tossed. It's totally disheveled. You come into contact with the homeowner and they tell you that property is missing. Do you see how we started with just, oh, we got a call for a burglar alarm, which could be like, maybe not, all the way to somebody has been in the house, tossed my house and took property from me. You've built upon a body of knowledge. Research should work that way. And the problem is that researchers, we've been hesitant to do that. We could probably talk about a lot of reasons, but we want to go do research and then deliver the insights. And the insights are here, and that's great. And what I'm suggesting is we should iteratively deliver insights, facts, evidence, a point of view. Yes, attaching some level of certainty to what we know, But it helps businesses make decisions in real time rather than 6 or 8 weeks from now. Because businesses don't want to make it. A product team that is looking to make a decision today cannot wait 6 to 8 weeks, because it's not just the product team, the engineering team, it's product marketing, it's all of these things. If they're waiting for evidence or data, they're not going to wait 6 to 8 weeks. They're going to move anyway. And then when they start to move without research, all of a sudden the question becomes, what's the value of research? And that's when companies let researchers go.